Josh Pate, Late Kick Josh, great show last night, back fresh off a trip to Athens, Georgia, where we'll start there. Behind the scenes with the Georgia Bulldogs. Does it look familiar over there still in Athens to what you've seen in other visits to some other programs around the Southeastern Conference?
Maybe a program, the Saban, Alabama program. Yeah, it looks very similar to that. I have noticed, though, both of you probably hear this literally every day. You will hear people accusing Kirby Smart of copying or trying to replicate what Nick Saban had in Tuscaloosa. So on the surface, I used to hear that and say, yeah, probably so. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, wouldn't you be an idiot not to try and do that? Wouldn't you be stupid? How in what other walk of life do you observe someone do something at such a surgically tactical level? They win multiple championships and say, now I got to go blaze my own trail. Screw that. Forget everything this dude did. I'm going to write the book my way. Of course, he's taken success principles from what he learned there. But I'll also say this. It's not like it's a copy paste job. There's a lot of stuff they do at Georgia I've never seen Bama do. And conversely, not everything Bama did, Georgia does. But it's as high a level an operation as you'll find in college football today.
We were in Tuscaloosa on Wednesday. I don't know if you knew that. We were getting to know the coaches. Josh Maxson, who you know well, gave us a tour around all those facilities. And I was blown away. And I was talking to Josh. I was like, there can't be many more facilities that are this nice in college football. And we started to name the Oregons and Georgias. And I don't know if you've been in that facility in Tuscaloosa, but I mean, is it basically what you get in Athens?
Yeah. A weight room. I just love the weight rooms. And Georgia, Bama set themselves apart from anywhere else in the country. Penn State just renovated, so they've got a really nice one. Oregon, Lance, I've always kind of put them in a different category because it's like going to visit a Nike campus that just happens to have an educational arm attached to it. So they're like next level, but their last renovation at Oregon was in the early 2010s, and they're getting set to break ground on a new one. So it's only a matter of time before Oregon reasserts itself at the top of this list. But in the meantime, yeah, Bama, Georgia, and then pretty much everyone else is what I've observed. And I've been in the halls of all those places, but it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm in the minority here, but I like a modern home. I like that look, that architect. And you'll go through a neighborhood and they've renovated and they've got a traditional house, and then a modern house, and it really kind of stands out and it looks kind of weird. But Oregon strikes me as the modern house-like program, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I think the craziest thing at Oregon I saw is, they've got like a different uniform combination for every single game. Unlike Alabama or Penn State, if you looked at their entire game-worn collection, it would fit in half of my closet. And I don't have a big closet. At Oregon, Kenny Farr, who is the guy who runs equipment at Oregon, one of the most important jobs in the country, he takes me upstairs when I'm there. And they've got these mechanized rollout closets that just move on tracks. And a lot of places have that, but a lot of places that's for shoes and that's for equipment storage. At Oregon, they've got several rows of those things, and it's just to house all of the game-worn jerseys. They've got grass stains on them and everything. They've got the game-worn jerseys up there, and it's like walking in a Taj Mahal of fabric. And he goes, check this out. This is from 2006. Remember that game against Washington State? No, I don't, Kenny. But this looks amazing. Yeah, you can see your face reflected in the metallicized numbers. So that, to me, out of all the things I saw at Oregon, was what stood out the most.
I'm always wondering, and Josh Pate's with us, Late Kick Josh, on all the platforms you get us. Like and subscribe. Give him thumbs up as well. He'll do a mailbag show on Tuesday and then back to his live show on Wednesday. Is that the plan for the rest of the week?
Thursday will be the live show. Yeah,
I'm a Sunday nighter. I'm an old school. I grab my coffee. I watch the Sunday night show. It's habit with me. Josh Pate's with us on the JohnsonRVCenter.com hotline. I'm interested though with Georgia. They won 2 national championships back to back. They didn't make the playoffs on the three-peat. I don't know if the fat and happy ever played into a role last year. Are they able to keep the edge over there like, say, Nick Saban and Alabama seem to do for most of the time over 17 years? Is it still a program that looks hungry when you're there?
I think it's the most important question. It's what I went over there. I wanted to ask Kirby that, and I did. And I said, you guys didn't even make the playoff last year. Was complacency an issue, or did the ball just not bounce your way? And he was really quick to say, no, I actually didn't sense complacency at all last year. And when you're around the program, it's about as sharp an edged program as you'll find. It's just so intense in there. It's like Alabama. You guys have been around Alabama. I have as well. You walk in the building at Alabama a random day in late February, and it feels like everyone's walking a tightrope 100 feet over a canyon. And that's what it feels like at Georgia. There's no mail it in day. There's no laid back day there. Everything's like the end of the world. And so he said last year, while everyone else had us ranked number one, we probably weren't as talented a team as we had the previous 2 years. And he said, we didn't play our best game against Ohio State. We happened to win the game the year before. We didn't play our best against Alabama. We happened to lose the game. Just sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. But it's an important distinction. If you get beat versus if things internally set up to where you beat yourself. He said, we didn't feel that at all. And I don't feel it when I'm around Georgia. I think they've got just as good an edge as they have previous the title wins.
Yeah, Josh, it's still amazing they weren't in a 14 playoff as good as they were, losing that one game to Alabama in the SEC championship. Moving forward with a 12-team playoff, it won't be a problem. They would be there, but we haven't even gotten into 12, and now we're talking about 14, and there are sources out there that say with this 14 model, you're going to have provisions where you get 3 automatic qualifiers for the SEC and the Big Ten. To me, we talked about this last week. I think this is extremely stupid. I want the best teams. And how can you have a provision for a team before you've even started a season?
So I'm not going to go 10 minutes on this, but suffice it to say, I've talked to you guys many times about how dumb I think auto bids are, period. So I never liked the concept of an auto bid. I don't like the concept of determining or predetermining how many teams will make it from a conference. So anyway, my thought on where that's actually going, Lance, is I think the SEC and the Big Ten really want to be able to say we tried at the end of the day. Okay, now this is my personal feel on this. I feel like they understand the behemoths that they already are will be even more reinforced when they expand again, which will happen in the very near future. And at that point, there won't be many reputable, highly thought of programs that aren't under one of those 2 umbrellas. And at that point, anyone with common sense looks and says, do they really need the rest of the sport to have a legitimized playoff? The answer will be no. Nostalgic versions of me want to say yes, but reality in 2024 and beyond will be no. So I think they know that. I think their television partners know that. And I think they understand moving forward, you could call it NFC versus AFC, you call it Big Ten versus SEC. It'll essentially feel like the same thing. Notre Dame can decide whatever they want to do. I think they want to be able to sit in the negotiating room in the meantime, give some good faith lip service to all these proposals, put out way too hard-lined a bargain, knowing no one's going to accept it, so that they can wash their hands at the end of the day, say, we tried, now we're going to do it our way. That's kind of where I think we're ultimately headed. Now, if someone's dumb enough to actually agree to the proposals they've put out there, I'm sure they'd take it. But they're planning, I think, on folks not taking it and then building what they actually wanted to build all the while down the road. And at that point, you've got conferences and you've got television networks really deciding the future of the sport. It's always been that way. It would just be more direct and in your face at that point.
So in a nutshell, you think that the ACC particularly, because I think that's where the best remaining programs are, they're on the verge of the Big Ten and the SEC going and picking a few more of their programs and maybe putting a hole in the side of their ACC ship.
Yeah, look, you guys have seen Dantes Peak, right? Both of you have seen that movie.
I have not seen it.
Okay. All right, well, spoiler alert here for a movie in the mid-'90s. It's a mountain, and you know it's going to erupt. Like, that's the entire premise of the movie. But in the meantime, there's this geological activity, and there's rock slides, and the town's water supply goes to crap. And, you see smoke every now and then out of a mountain, and people keep trying to say, don't worry, that happens all the time. Don't worry, it's okay. And Pierce Brosnan is trying to tell folks, no, man, it's coming. You got to get out of here. Well, quote unquote, without warning, the mountain erupts one day. Well, it wasn't without warning. And people acting shocked and trying to get out of town deserve everything that's happening to them. When this goes down, when the ACC finally does implode, it'll happen quickly. It'll be like a random Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon. It'll happen out of nowhere. FSU's on the move, and then shortly thereafter, you'll see headlines. Clemson may go here. Miami may go there. And you'll have people say, wow, this is a shocker. But all the signs are there right now. Water supply is already soiled now. Okay, we've got seismic activity now. You really think that you're watching the ACC and the FSU Seminoles do battle in court over nothing? Like, you really think ESPN responded legally a couple of weeks ago over nothing? Of course stuff's moving behind the scenes. And if you were to take, let's just say, if you were to take FSU and Miami and North Carolina and Clemson and distribute them somewhere, and Notre Dame hops in a boat somewhere. Guys, this is a very heartless thought, but what major college brand that you need for a legitimized playoff at that point does not exist under the SEC or the Big Ten umbrella? It's just the way things are moving. I hate it, but it's the way things are moving.
Yep. It all makes sense when you put it in the Dantes Peak's storyline there. Nice.
Simple Dantes Peak protocol.
Yeah, I knew it was Pierce Bronson. Does he have the English accent, or does he go American?
Well, here's the problem. When he'll say things like, "This mountain's a ticking time bomb," you can hear it bleed through. He tries to sound like he's from Olympia, Washington, but wherever he's from, they're drinking their tea with a pinky and a ring finger out. Like, that's where that voice originated from.
Oh, see, I try to learn in the trailer park. I just go pinky, so I need to go ring finger too? I can't do that. I do the pinky.
That's where Pierce is from. In fairness, neither you nor I even smell like Pierce Brosnan. Okay, that guy smells on a totally different level. So speaking and decor and etiquette, I wouldn't even try to tote that guy's job.
Yeah, how did you think he fit in the Bond catalog with all of those other actors? Because I grew up, like, Sean Connery's kind of the go-to. I grew up a Roger Moore guy. That was kind of my era. But I think Daniel Craig has been the best Bond. I thought Pierce was okay. Timothy Dalton was terrible.
All right. So I've got some chewed gum here. I'm going to put it back in my mouth because I'm going to get a little cotton mouth when I tell you what I'm about to tell you. Pull it back out. I've never seen any of the James Bond movies, so I have no idea.
Oh, my gosh. This was done away a couple years ago.
Someone gasped from the other room in my apartment. That's how tough it is. I've never seen them. I've never seen any of the movies.
They're worth the watch. And especially the new ones with Daniel Craig are outstanding.
I've only seen two.
Can I just ask both of you? So I'm this way in Star Wars as well. So someone who is foreign to these movie franchises, it makes total sense to Star Wars fans or James Bond fans. Like, you get it. It's like the Lord of the Rings Hobbit stuff. You see it in your head chronologically. I would have no idea what movie to even watch first.
Well, don't do what I did, because I told them I was going to, in the pandemic, I was going to go back from whatever the first one was, and I was going to go in order and watch every Bond movie during the pandemic, and I made it through 2.
Yeah, you don't have to do it like that. There's only, and I'm not the deepest on the James Bond catalog. I've seen almost every one of them, but there's only like 2 or 3 that actually, where they kind of coincide, so you can kind of jump in wherever you want.
Oh, it's like Parks and Rec, basically. You can just standalone episodes, watch whatever you want.
I think you will be fine doing that. James, I'm with you on Star Wars. I only saw I call them the original 3. I think our backroom guys are going to laugh. They're prequels or sequels, or I don't know, but I have no idea on the other ones.
Have you ever noticed that? Anytime I've ever started to broach the Star Wars topic, inevitably, everyone in the production room has seen every one of them. It doesn't matter where I've worked. Everyone in the production room, you might as well take the IFB out, because they are going to trash you. And their voice can't be heard. So it's just them private lying to you, insulting everything about your existence because you haven't seen the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I am, at this point, keep giving Rockstar the signal not to turn John Lunsford, the guy who handles all of our dynamic and numbers up here. He's a beautiful mind, but he's all Star Wars. And he is trying to jump on. They're restraining him right now like it's WrestleMania in the back.
Apologies to all.
Josh Pate, Late Kick Josh. Go like and subscribe and follow him throughout the time between the last game and the next game. He'll keep you entertained the rest of the season. Josh, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys.